not the $3,000 or $3,500 gift that you allege that you made prior to the RV. Because prior to the RV, 1 million dinar, it was 1 million dinar, not 3 million. So 1 million dinar right now is worth about $1,400, $1,200, except that the smaller denominations, I heard those have really gone up in value.
So it depends on retail versus actual. Actual value is still $855.
Okay, so you have it. So let's assume that you had $855 to $1,200, whatever that is. That's the gift that you make when you transfer 1 million dinar to somebody. You've just gifted them something under $1,500. That is a non-taxable event. Each of you can gift away that type of money to anybody you want each and every year. Okay, that falls within your annual gift exclusion amount. Now, when that recipient takes that $1 million and they exchange it themselves, they generate $3 million in taxable income. That is taxed to them. It is not taxed to you because that is their asset. That's why with the LLC, one of the reasons we set the LLC up in the manner in which we did is to have some of the money taxed down to our kids. So it makes it their asset. Well, the IRS might say, if there's not supporting documentation, that you gifted the currency after the RV. You held on to it with the intent to wait to determine what the amount was going to be, and then you decided how much you want to give. I've talked to quite a few people who said, oh, I intend to gift them anywhere between 1 million to 3 million dinar, but I don't know yet. Why don't you know? Well, if it comes out at $3, I'm okay gifting them that 3 million dinar. But if it comes out at 50%, they're only going to get 1 million. So you haven't really gifted anybody anything yet. So that's what could be argued. So by having that corresponding letter, and then ask them for a receipt. Ask the person to whom you give the interest to a receipt. I mean, you shouldn't gift them dinar outright. You should, well, some of you will, but for family members, run it through the LLC, and that could be brothers and everything in there. Have them acknowledge receipt via an email. In fact, I would send them an email saying, hey, I'm sending you the following amounts of dinar. Here's what I think about it. I want to gift this to you today. You'll receive it in the mail. You send it certified and keep that certification. And then have them, once they receive it, send you back, yes, bless you, send you back a return email stating, yes, I received it, thank you very much, something like that. And now you have this trail that if you're ever audited and challenged on when that gift was made, you can establish, yes, I made it prior to the RV, because that's when I moved the money to them. Of course, they should be the one cashing it in as well to further evidence that.
Well, actually, the issue doesn't fall on the giver, it falls on the receiver.
No, it doesn't. It falls on the giver.
Well, no, to prepare the document, but in other words, to make sure that you filled out documentation, gifting it to them so they have some proof when they go to cash.
Correct, but the tax falls on the giver. Question was, who pays the tax when you gift currency to somebody? The giver pays the tax, not the recipient. So the first can go after you. So you would be the person responsible for the gift tax.
So the question is, if we set up the LLC pre-RV, we fill out these forms, we put our kids' names, and we also in the LLC have said that we got these letters saying that we're gifting X number of dinar, and we hold it through this asset form that says they are ownership of that. We put all of it into our bank safety deposit box, which is our business account for the LLC. Does that still constitute they have control and delivery? If it's still in the bank account for the LLC.
So yes, you gifted them the interest because when the cash is in the LLC, you're not gifting them the dinar any longer. You've converted dinar into a limited liability company interest. And so now I'm not gifting you the currency. I'm gifting you something that represents the value of that currency, which is the LLC interest I've just provided to you.
So that's really what it is. It's the value of the LLC.
It's the value of the LLC. So that's the completed gift right there. So your asset protection structure, again, pretty straightforward. You have your SAFE LLC right here. It's in Nevada. And then you create what we call danger LLCs for all of those assets that are dangerous, and you put those in the states where the property is located. And Greg will talk to you about something tomorrow about using a holding LLC where you can wrap these LLCs into a big limited liability company for additional layer of protection. And so it's beyond what I'm going to cover today, but that's what we're going to cover hit on tomorrow when we break these things down, show you different structuring matters that you would consider. Because you don't want to go out there necessarily after at RVs and you're looking at creating additional LLCs and start owning them in your own name. If you can set these up in, say this was in Florida right here, and this one's in California, and this one's in Oregon. Even though those states do not allow you to create an LLC with a nominee manager like you can in Nevada, I can still master ownership by doing it a certain way with a Nevada LLC so that your name will not appear on those companies that we're creating for you. So even though it's an in-state LLC, you still have privacy. Now that is something we're going to go into tomorrow, but that's something to consider. So these strategies, you have to know that, yeah, it's great, you have to set them up, but do it in the right manner so that privacy shield stays in place. Okay, so step 2. Control over your taxes. First step in this investment is protect yourself. Number 2 is to reduce your taxes. So which way do we go? Do we just go and transfer the money and pay for it, in our own name? For many people, the answer to that question, when I talk about RV, do I RV in my own name or in an LLC that's going to flow down and be taxed to me? The answer to that question is yes. For many people, that is the way to go. So this is tax to me. Well, most of you are going to go this route, where you're going to set up an LLC, you're going to put your dinar in here, and then you're going to RV out and have the cash flow back in, and it's going to be taxed down to you. For many people, that is the route to go. There is no tax savings in that strategy. It's just something the way it is. All flows onto your personal return. The LLC does not eliminate tax, does not minimize tax. Now, there's some people who will have you take the purple road. And the purple road is through the creation of a corporation to minimize taxes, a C corporation. I would not go on the purple road because the purple road will lead you to higher taxation because the income that is generated inside of the corporation is taxable at the corporate tax bracket, and then it'll be taxable to you at your individual tax bracket when you pull it out as a dividend. So I would avoid the corporate road to go that C corporation route. Now, there's this middle road right here. Is for the CRT. There's one other side road here we still have to talk about, but let's talk about the CRT route. We'll go into that in more detail tomorrow, but the question is, should I create a charitable remainder trust? And for those of you not familiar with this entity, it's an entity that allows you to move your currency before it's been exchanged or before it revalues or after it revalues, before you exchange it into this CRT. You put it inside of there, and that's where the exchange will take place, inside of the CRT. Now, just as I described with the LLC, the way you get money into an LLC or dinar into an LLC, you ledger it. You do the same thing with the CRT. You fill out a ledger for your trust, and you say it owns $5 million. Now, once it's inside of there, it's ledgered in there, you take it down to your bank, and you exchange it. The money will flow into the CRT. The money that flows into the CRT is not taxed. It's not taxed. You cashed it. The question was, even though you cashed it in the name of the CRT, not in your personal name, not in your LLC. So the money from the bank, if this is the bank right here, bank, say it was Chase, they will send the money to this CRT. So the CRT receives the funds, never touches your hands. If the cash came into your account, then went into the CRT, that's taxable to you. It has to go directly from there to the bank to this CRT to avoid it. With the CRT, then you pay tax when the money is distributed out to you, as Greg's going to cover in more detail tomorrow. But what I want to explain to you is that when is this middle road appropriate? It's appropriate for those individuals who have sufficient amounts of income on the outside and assets to do with what they want, that the money they're considering putting in the CRT is not something that they're going to rely upon or need to rely upon for their lifestyle. Because the CRT, the payout, is going to be limited based upon a number of factors. And if you find yourself in a situation where you need cash, you can't walk up to the CRT and just pull out gobs of cash. It doesn't work that way. Because it'll create, it's been pledged to a charity with you, and you're getting a lifetime interest in this money. So you can't treat it that way. Whereas if I have a limited liability company set up, I can walk up and pull out $5 million just with the stroke of a pen, and there's no tax ramifications to me. But with the CRT, there can be significant ramifications if you destroy it in that manner. So this option is a viable option for people. I typically tell them over 3 million dinar, because I assume for most people their first